Hey everybody, welcome back into this incredibly beautiful Zoom room. For those of you who are frequent watchers, you're going to notice the woman in this room with me, Jessa Grace, was already in this room. And so you're going to wonder, what's going on? What the heck? Why is she here? Why is she back? Well, she had an impact on me, so she would be back for that reason also. But today we're going to do something that nobody's done in the hundreds of conversations we've had. Nobody's requested this conversation. In all of the conversations, I've led the conversations. I've had the questions, and I've asked people to answer those questions so that I would listen to them and get to know them. After our conversation, Jessa said to me, I would like to be the one to ask the questions. I'd like to get to know you a little bit, and I didn't get a chance to get to know you. So she said, would you be open to that? I said, of course, that would be beautiful. So I have introduced it enough. I am now going to go into the space of the stranger that comes into the room that Jessa gets to meet. And I'm going to allow her to ask me. We haven't gone over questions. I don't know what she's going to ask. I do know that she told me she's been digging pretty deep, so we'll see where it goes. She also has bought a copy of the Mosaic and has some of her, and she's holding it there. Thank you so much. And thank you for buying it. I hope you've been enjoying it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Everybody buy the book. That's the plug for the book. Buy the book.
I love it. So I love that. And so all of that makes me happy. All of it, you know, I sit and I welcome this opportunity. Jessa, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Jessa Grace. You see different versions of my name wherever you look for me. But yeah, I am honored to be here. It was interesting. I asked her, I was like, where's your interview? I'm looking and nobody's reversed the script on you. So yay, I get to be the crazy one to do this. I have a feeling we're all going to learn a lot more about Danny. I've only known him for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe. So I know very little. I know wife, kids, you know, all of that sort of thing. But I want to dig deeper. So I'm going to tell you now, go Google him. Just go Google him. His bio is amazing. I was just like, wow, if I had known this before I even spoke to him as a stranger, I probably would have been really nervous. Like, don't ask me anything. So go Google him. Today, I do not want to give you anything that you can find on Google. All right, Danny?
Love it.
We're gonna make a whole new thing here. If
Love
they can Google it, fine. Just say, if I ask you a question that's on Google, say go Google it, and we'll just keep moving. All right?
Love it. Love it.
I want to dig in. So, how are you?
You know, I'm confused. I'm great. I'm happy. I'm overwhelmed in some ways because what's happening in my life, which is really like, I feel like an odd man right now. And because the experiences that I'm having make me feel so weird even talking about them. I'm having really intimate experiences with people that are thousands of miles away. And it's not like it's not like I'm searching for intimacy. I'm very happily married to my wife. It's not like I'm looking for something, but there are experiences that are so deep and so profound and sometimes even sexual. And what I'm realizing is as people open up and as energy opens up, one of the centers that opens up is the second chakra center, which is the energy center of creation. And when people are opened up in that creative way, their natural expression of that is sexuality. Because not many people know how to turn that into creativity.
Right, yeah.
Having spent 10 years as a monk as a monastery, that was one of our practices.
I was just going to ask about that. Yeah. I have to, yes, I'm in the same zone. We've had our own energy exchanges and everything. And it's a very new thing. And I think it's more of a collective thing. There's a lot of us on the planet who I'm sure if we opened the conversation would be like, yeah, this is happening. Our energies are moving faster and closer together in all different kinds of ways. And other people I have a similar, not quite as strong sort of thing with, but it's a different chakra center.
Yeah.
every time with every person. It's like that person is here to heal that for me or grow that for me or shine a light on that for me. And it's very interesting how it's like with you, it's just like a vacuum, like right into, hi, I'm here. How are you?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really love it. So that leads me to my next question. Why do you think this is?
My natural answer is that I feel like something that has been my whole life initiated a little bit in our conversation, because you said something to me while we were talking of how I just have the, of you, when I say I am talking of you right now,
My words.
you said to me that I just feel like this unlimited amount of energy coming into me, and I just make myself available for people to take what they need from me. They don't even have to ask.
Right.
And it defined in me who I am and who I've always been. And I think we even had a conversation around that through texting that,
Yeah.
that's, you even said, that's what you do. That's what you're doing for me. It's very similar. And so I don't know that I was as aware of it before then as I was after then, but it's what I've always done. But I just couldn't put a label on it. So my natural answer is I just want to be available for people to get something from that energy. But that negates what I'm getting from that energy. And I'm still discovering what I'm getting. And I don't want to just answer the question with this sense of I'm just this public servant that I'm here to satisfy everybody's needs or everybody's desires, because there's something, yeah. And I don't even mind being that right now. I don't, like, I feel like the energy, I'm in a place in my life where the energy is so much that nobody wants to be used, but I don't think I can, like, how does God use God? I mean, it's impossible, right? So but I feel like there's something that I'm being given that I'm still exploring and trying to understand. There's something that I'm receiving in all this that is bigger than just me giving somebody else something. And I don't think I've been honest enough with myself, because I've always concentrated so much on how much I give. But this whole process of being in this room and listening and receiving is opening me up to, like, what am I actually receiving in all this? Because in every interaction that I've had, I receive something, but I'm feeling people. I mean, I just got off the phone with somebody who they invited me to their podcast. And while we were talking about it, I said, boy, do you mind if I say something to you? And she said, no. And I said, do you feel like completely blocked in your chakras? And she said, absolutely. And I said, and as I'm talking to her, I'm feeling this sensuality come from her. And I'm thinking, like, what in the heck is going on? Like, well, so I said something. I'm just that guy that just speaks about it, because I don't, it's no good to hide it. And so I said to her, what is the sensuality that I'm feeling? And she said, I'm a very, very sensual person. And I said, yeah, but all that energy is blocked. Like, so what happens? So, like, there's something, I feel like there's something in you that wants to be seated so you can actually birth something, but it isn't sex. It's a creation that you're right. And she started crying. She said, how did you know that?
Yeah.
And so we just had a conversation, because nobody's been courageous enough to talk to her about that. And so, and I told my wife about it. And she said, so what is this all about? Like, cause she said, so people are visiting you and you're having like this experience with them. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. And I said, I'm telling you, like, I don't even know how I feel about it. And I so want to let you know, cause I don't want to, I'm innocent, and I'm innocent enough that I want to share this with you, because what I think needs to happen, I guess, for me, is I need to understand the sensuality of creativity. And I think that that's a place that I want to start to direct some of my energy around, because sensual, sexual creativity is
might be the new concept that you personally are birthing.
Yes, maybe.
Your new paradigm to be sharing. You've got the mosaic, and now maybe this is your next theme.
Maybe.
Maybe.
There's something really rich in it, because I think so many people are blocked in their creativity because they use the energy for sexuality.
Well, that, and a lot of people have a lot of broken history around sexuality. Myself, personally, I'm still on a healing journey.
Yeah.
I really am. And like the things like shame and guilt and fear around sexuality, sensuality, and having to birth something at the same time.
Yeah.
That doesn't work together. Those two energies are polar opposites.
Yeah.
It takes a lot.
And for me, when there's shame and guilt and pain around myself, then the other expressions of myself, which aren't sexuality, so it's my creativity, then I have shame and guilt and pain around creating something that's completely innocent and whole. But they're all interconnected. And when that chakra is blocked,
it's
when
a mosaic. It's a mosaic of energy and emotions.
I could have said it better. Thank you.
Yeah, and my next question is, how does the word mosaic make you feel? I think we covered that.
Well, but it's such an interesting thing because we live very segmented lives. We put these emotions over here. We put these feelings over here. We say, I got to be strong. I can't be who I am. So I silo all these different things that don't fit into what I think you will like in me.
And that's where we're not integrated individuals.
And that's why our
we're
mosaic.
Talking about in the previous conversation.
Yeah. And that's why our mosaic is still broken pieces sitting on the ground around us. And there's something so exquisitely beautiful when we take the amazing stories that each one of those broken pieces tell, and we bring them together to tell the story of a united mosaic. So
it's
in
beautiful.
one way,
don't make me cry. I just read it. It's a beautiful book.
Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh. All right. So I kind of want to take this in a different direction.
Please.
Just take this piece of paper and move it over there. Based on everything that you've just said, and that it is a mosaic, and that we are not integrating our truths so that we can actually birth something with conscious creativity and really integrated growth as of it. I want to play a word association game with you. Do you mind?
No.
When I do this, I generally channel a word. You say something, I'll feed off of that with the next word, and we'll say something. So let's just start at the top of our conversation that we're having here. Let's say when you hear the word feminine, what do you think?
Masculine.
Very good. Yes. When you hear the word truth, what do you think?
Do I have to say one word, or can I say
a couple of short words is fine.
Okay. I think many people mistake truth for honesty. Honesty and truth are different.
They are.
So it's not, the truth is not necessarily honest.
I'm going to write that down. Just give me a second.
Mom, please, could I?
1 second.
Can I have food?
Yes, go get a snack. Sorry.
No worries.
Receiving.
Exquisiteness.
I like that, yes. Forgiveness.
Essential.
Unity.
Sad.
Can we pause there? Why?
I think the world is so sad that we've forgotten unity.
Yeah.
I think that it's, unity is it's so sad that people have torn it apart. And that we're not living in that place. And it's just our natural birthright.
Yeah.
Is to come in unified.
And then you get more ease and grace by doing it that way.
Yeah.
Collaborate, people. Go collaborate. It can happen. Next one, success.
Inner peace.
Family.
Confusing.
Confusing. Okay. I can agree with that. They're radishes. Sorry. Growth.
Essential.
All right. What is your current growth? What are you growing essentially?
This whole place that we're speaking about is that for a long time when I wrote the Mosaic, I would invite people to not only read its words, but to feel the space between its words. And I thought
I'm going to read this book at least once a year, and every year I'm going to find something different.
Yeah.
That makes you want to cry.
I love that. But but and it's as beautiful as the story is and as powerful as it is, because I think there's something exquisite and beautiful in the story.
Mm-hmm.
There's something in the space, and I'm understanding that now in relationship to what happened with us also.
Yeah.
Of,
1 second. Ali, please be quiet. We'll edit that out. Ali, I really need you to be quiet. I can hear all of that. Please go upstairs. I'll get you a snack. Thank you.
okay.
Ali, go upstairs. Thank you. That's really loud. This mic gets everything.
Yeah, you get. So that space has become really, really tangible to me.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm really realizing is that space means nothing. How is it possible to experience intimacy with a person 3,000 miles away?
Yeah.
How is it possible to know what another person's thinking when you never even met them? How is it possible to be having these feelings that I feel without even understanding them?
Yeah.
And this whole idea of we're one space away, one piece away from everything we want, that whether it's this world or a parallel world or something else, that nothing is as it seems, and space is the answer to everything we don't understand.
Well, how relevant is time and space when we know that we're infinite?
It's relevant in this dimension. We have to live in this world, but we also, when we close our eyes, or when we have our eyes open and are pulled into another reality, like what happened to Mo when he when he went through the unzipped sky.
Yeah.
Suddenly he was in another reality. He had an experience of the complete whole mosaic and the oneness of that. This time and space doesn't mean anything. It's just a joke. Yeah. But in the world that we're living in, it certainly means a lot. I mean, I had an appointment to show up with you at a certain time, and I have to be here, right?
Right.
And it's this day and this time, and
in this spot.
In this spot. And if I'm not here, I missed this beautiful opportunity to be together.
Right.
But on another dimension, it doesn't have much reality.
So I think it's fair to say that there are certain energies or people that we can, if we choose, and sometimes we just accidentally find ourselves having interdimensional relationships.
Yes.
It's a cosmic thing, but it's also very here now. I need to pay my bills just like you need to pay your bills, but I also can play in other realms, I guess. Yeah,
so what I'm experimenting with right now is my body is full of pain. My body is overweight. My body, I haven't taken care of this temple that I lived in. I went out with a woman one time who said, "You have the most beautiful priest living in the most rundown temple I've ever seen. Why wouldn't your priest anoint you enough to take care of your temple?" And she said, I have a beautiful temple, but I'm missing the priest inside. So I know why we're together. My job is to help you rebuild your temple. Your job is to introduce me to my priest.
Oh, wow.
So it was really a beautiful moment, but I'm also now playing, if I can feel people thousands of miles away, and I can feel what they're feeling and feel what they're seeing, what prevents me from feeling the energy that in a moment can change the frequency of my body so that I can feel new frequencies and new feelings, and that can change my body in a moment? That's where I'm playing right now.
Wow. I've dabbled with that question.
Yeah, I bet.
I have, and I think it's different for every energy that you're looking for. Sometimes it's about just simply being able to receive it, and sometimes it's about being able to even conceive it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a really big wow. When you find out, let me know.
I definitely will.
Let me know.
But again, like one of the things, all this has been brought on by this mosaic, because the book says nothing is as it seems. And at first I thought, what the heck? I'm just writing a little fable. What are you getting? Like, what are you talking about? Parallel realities and nothing is anything. But it's teaching me something. It's teaching me that this isn't the only world that I live in.
It's infused with so many truths that we can't really put words to. There are thousands of words in this book, and it says so much more than what it says.
You're so kind. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing a lot of it with my kids as well.
I love that.
Yeah, big time.
I love that.
And the audio version.
Yes, soon. It's all ready. It should be out. It's pretty much October, first week of October. It should be available.
Yes. get my surround sound speakers going with it.
Thank you so much.
It's going to be fun. So let's talk more about the writing of the book, because I've heard you a couple times say, I didn't write this book, or I thought I was writing this, but I was actually doing that. When we chatted, you took me back 20 years ago.
Wow.
To when my journey started with how I am, who and how I am now. Take us back 20 years ago. Where were you? Who were you? And how did that lead to this? If it did. If it didn't, it didn't.
So 20 years ago, I was leaving a yoga community, and I was starting to work at Hay House.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I had been a monk for 10 years in a yoga community. And then I went away because I was leading trips to different places, to holy places.
Mm-hmm.
I went away on a trip to lead people to that place. And a woman that I had been sort of flirtatious with in my days as a monk, thinking that my monastic vibe would keep me safe, picked me up at the airport, and I said, "Wow, I'm surprised to see you. What are you doing here?" She said, "Not nearly as surprised as you're going to be when you get home." And I said, "Can you give me some inkling?" She said, "Well, I prefer not, but I will." She said, "I moved you out of the monastery and I moved you into my house." And I said, "What?" I said, "How did you do that?" She said, "Well, there's an energy between us. You know that energy, and you're not really being a monk if you're flirting with me."
Right.
But we hadn't kissed. Maybe we hugged a couple times. But in the way that I was living at that point in time, I just said, God brings me everything. So if it's time for me to leave the monastery, it's probably time for me to leave the monastery. And we ended up getting married. And so, but that was probably 30 years ago, 20 years ago, she was really, really sick. She had late stage breast cancer. She was in the most painful moments a person could ever be in. She was going through blood curdling, screaming pain, 45 minutes, every 45 minutes, all day and all night. While I was raising our daughter, in the meantime, I would spend 45 minutes with our daughter trying to take care of her. Then I would hear the screams and I would say, "Sweetheart, you have to take care of yourself. I got to be with mommy." And I would go and be with my mom. And my wife finally, in the 45 minutes when she was on, she said, "You got to do something. You're going to go crazy here if you're just doing this. You have no life." So she bought me a computer and she said, "See what you can do. Maybe you can work from here somehow." And I got in touch with Reed, who was running Hay House, because I had met him at book shows. And he said, "Boy, I feel for you. Would you ever think about working with us?" And I said, "But I'm here. I'm stuck in this house. I can't move." He said, "I don't care where you are. You've had so many $1 million ideas that I wish they were ours. And I just want to bring you here to if you'll do it." I said, "Bring me here, how?" He said, "No, you just sit with your computer right where you are. And we just talk and we do stuff through, And together we grew that in those years from $3 million to $100 million in sales over a 10-year period of time as my wife was dying.
See that? Okay. I'm going to let this one slide. You could Google that, everyone. That side of the story.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. So really what happened was, if I were to look back and try and mosaic it, this was just a guy that I had met at a book show. Mm-hmm. We had some simpatico, but I reached out because I just my soul was dying. In the life that I was giving to others, I was dying. And my wife saw it and she said, "You got to reach out. You got to do something. You can work from 4 a.m. till 8 a.m. I'll just go through you come every 45 minutes. That you don't need to be with our daughter. Then you can go to your computer and let me have the space and I'll give you the space." And so what a wild time that was.
Wow. Part of me is really glad I asked that question. And part of me is like, Whew,
Yeah.
I'm going to need to go for a walk after that.
Yeah. No, there's been,
Wow.
I've
Wow.
known a lot of pain in my life, but I've also had a lot of grace.
Yeah.
Along with the pain has come, a lot of amazing miracles that have lifted me out of it.
Whew, that's a lot. Thank you for that. That has got to go in some books on my skin. So let's talk more about people then. People, I feel like you can really learn a lot about the people around a person and how they feel about them. Who's the most important person in your life?
My daughter, bar none.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I could say my wife, and I wish I could say, some of my teachers or my brother or something like that. But I remember when I was in the seminary, one of the guys got married, and he said to me, after his first child was born, he said, "Danny, I thought I knew what love was when I met my wife, but I had no idea what it was until I had my daughter."
Yeah, I can relate.
And I thought that's so, I'm so sad about that. I thought, because why wouldn't you, I'm so sad for your wife, but I completely understand it now.
Yeah.
The love of my daughter is instinctual, and she's taught me, you can hear this story in millions of places, but she's taught me more than any human being I've known.
That's their job, right?
Yeah.
The give and take. Yeah, children. I will definitely answer that the same. Absolutely the most important people in my world. Everything I do, every breath I take, every decision I make, for them.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Okay, that being said, if it's not the same, so I asked you who's the most important person in your life. Who's your favorite?
That's in my life right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'll stretch it out. My wife is my favorite.
Good.
Because she, I don't know how she does it. Because I'm a hard person. I mean, I'm an easy person. I'm a loving person.
I'm listening. You're a hard person.
I'm a hard person because my energy is given to so many.
Yeah.
But sometimes I don't give it to the ones that are closest to me. And this story you can hear other places too. But when I finished reading the Mosaic, it told me to go out on the road and speak to the people nobody speaks to and listen to the people no one listens to. And I was going to set out for a trip that was going to go for a year. I didn't know if I would be able to do it. If I was able to do it, it would have been for the rest of my lifetime. And I looked at my wife and I said, I don't know what this means, but I'm being told to do this. And she said, if you're being told to do it, you got to do it. I can't stop. I mean, I can't stand in your way. Will you come back and visit us? Will you, and I said, I hope so. I don't know. I can't stay away from you and Elisa. I can't stay away from the kids. I mean, I got to come back and see you sometime, but I don't know how it's going to work. And she has this uncanny ability to allow me to do what I need to do, even if it's not what she wants me to do, or even if she doesn't feel like it's right for us. But we sit and talk about everything, like we talk about everything, like the experiences I had of these. I talked to her about it, and she said, I can't. On one hand, it hurts me so much to hear you say that because I don't want to share that with somebody else. On the other hand, I know you, and I know I can't. You have to do what you got to do, and you're being asked to do it. And there's something so beautiful in what you're doing, and so I love that I can be with somebody who loves me and accepts me with that amount of 100%.
Yeah, that's amazing.
100%.
I have seen her lives on Facebook. She's got amazing energy. You're very lucky to have somebody like that around. Just that energy around. Yeah.
Yeah, I jokingly say to her, she's obviously deaf and blind because she can't see what this is and hear it. Thank God. So.
Oh wow. That's beautiful. So there were some other questions that I had here that have already been answered, which is, it's a natural evolution of a conversation, I guess. I would say I have 3 more questions.
Good.
That aren't on this list that have kept up. What is your favorite thing about yourself?
I think I just like this guy. You
That's
know,
awesome.
I can't always say that I can't always say that I have, but something's happened that I'm just so honored to be this person. I mean, there's certain things, sure, when I look in the mirror, that's what, like when I said honesty and truth are not the same.
Mhm.
Like I'm overweight, I have pain in my body. I could look at those and say I don't like those things about myself, and those are honest. They're things that I'm doing, but those aren't the truth of the matter.
Mhm.
The truth of the matter is I am so proud to be this and honored to be the person that I am because of what I feel and how I love and how I care about people and how I care about myself. I'm learning to know how to care about myself in the same way. And it's such a privilege to be existing in this form that I, I, I love that about me. You
That is
know,
so great. That is so great. Everybody, if you're on the list of people who want to be my friend, have that answer.
yeah,
I want to be friends with people only like that because that is
yeah.
fantastic. And my friends are like that. They love themselves. They cherish themselves, and I think that's so rare. It's so important. It's a sign of somebody who is self-empowered, and a
So,
self-empowered person get out of their way.
I love that. And without wanting to like make this sound like it's one-upsmanship or anything, for all those people who can't be Jess's friend because you don't fit into that, I love you and I want to be your friend too because I know what it's like to not do that.
Yeah, it's a journey.
And together we'll be together and we'll just come together. It's not that I'm gonna teach you anything, but just when you're with somebody who feels that, you start to feel that too.
Yeah, it does wear off. It's an energy that
And I can't wait to have you in my life because you're all part of my, if you're listening to this, you're part of my mosaic. And let's become tighter parts of the mosaic. Let's tighten our pieces together so that more pieces can fit into this limited time and space that we think is what we have, which is really unlimited.
All right, I'm going to take a page from your book really quick. Listeners, listen to what just happened there. The self-love and the ability to love everybody, they go together. If you can't love yourself, you can't love anybody else.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. It's not going to work. And the invitation that Danny has here in the mosaic and in this room is for you to take off those things that you don't love about yourself that aren't even you anyways, and really show up so you can love and nurture and show yourself. And I think
Yeah.
that's a huge, wow, that happened.
Can I refine that a little bit? Because the
Go
experience
for
that I
it.
have,
Go
the
for it.
experience that I'm having in this room is that nobody even has to consciously take it off.
Mhm.
It's just, it just seems like what happens in this room when I'm in this room with people
Uh-huh.
is when they feel loved and accepted, when they feel listened to and heard, when they feel acknowledged and validated,
Mhm.
they no longer feel the need to defend themselves.
Right.
And so all that just naturally, it's not like they're trying to take it off. All of it naturally just falls off. And what emerges is who they are. And they, sometimes in this room, people see themselves for the first time themselves.
I've seen that. I'm like, whoa, that person just saw that.
Yeah. And it's so,
Some of the
what
conversations are mind blowing.
an exquisite honor to be able to do that. And it takes nothing. It doesn't take a degree. It doesn't take an ordination. It just takes the time and patience and willingness to ask somebody, hey, how you doing? What's going on? How are you? And to just be interested enough to listen to what they have to say. I have a list of questions that I can ask, but lately those questions are disappearing because it's more
I
important for me to,
noticed that.
yeah, it's more important for me to follow in the trend,
Yeah.
in the trend of what the conversation is than to go back. I was doing it to get data because I was trying to collect data on certain things, but then I have an agenda. I'm collecting data.
Yeah.
The truth for me that I discovered in my life is when I can enter a conversation agendaless, I can really love and accept somebody. When I have an agenda, I never can.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. All right, then that leads me to the next question then. You told me what your favorite thing is, which is you, which is great. Now let's flip it again. What is the most important thing about you? To you, not to the world,
Yeah.
to you.
I think the most important thing for me is my practice. I've had the honor and privilege to sit every day for the last 45 years in a practice of meditation. When I was in the monastery, that was sometimes 10, 12, 18 hours a day.
Wow.
Now it's very rarely 10, 12, 18 hours a day. Sometimes it can be 10, 12, 18 seconds a day. But I never miss the opportunity to take the time I need to connect back inward. And I think that's given me such a rare gift, because as much as this world around me experiences chaos, when I'm in my center, I'm like at the center of the hub of the wheel. It just turns ever so gently, while the rim is going frenetically. The hub is just turning a little bit, and I can maintain that. I'm not, I don't have the best balance in the world, but I can stay on that hub. I don't lose the hub. If I was on the outside of the rim, I'm thrown, I'm crushed, I'm beaten up. And so that practice has been, to me, the most important thing I've done in my life.
Relate to that. Never meditated for 18 hours before, but yes, I can relate to how important practice is to a person, especially when it connects you to you.
So in all honesty and all, transparency, there were times in those 18 hours that I would fall asleep, sitting there meditating, and I would scold myself and I would say, God, if you're tired, just go to the bed. Mm-hmm. But when I came back and I woke up, or when I sat there and I woke up, and my beloved heard me chastising myself, she said to me, why chastise yourself? You were taking a nap in the arms of your beloved. What could be more beautiful than that?
Oh, wow.
And when I heard that voice say that to me, we have no idea how much we're loved and adored. We have no idea how much our beloved wants to fall in love with us and wants to express our love for us, or his love for us, depending on how you see your God. Mm-hmm. And when we allow that to happen, it's intoxicating. All I wanted to do was spend more time. So when I felt that, why would I want to leave that? That's the most intoxicating, beautiful love you could ever imagine. And I want to share that love. I want to give that love. I want to receive that love. And part of what's happening in the spaces that I'm feeling now is that love is being transmuted. It certainly isn't because of this body. It's not because of this old fat guy sitting in California that anybody's having these experiences. It's just there's an energy, and that energy is powerful, and it's blessed.
Yeah. That's beautiful. That is really amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all of this.
Yeah.
So we're coming up on our time here, and I know that you have another session right after this. So the last thing that I want you to share that we could Google, but I've seen different versions, meshing with different versions, with other versions, depending on who's sharing it. I want your message. What is your message to the world? Not your message for your book or anything, to the world. What is this that you are here to give us?
I think over time it's changed, but my message, and it surprised me because I thought I had a pretty consistent message. But my message really is, I want to create a revolution of listening. I want people to be able to come to a place, which is on my website. They can go to the conversation tab. And I want people to get a sense of what happens when we listen to another human being. And you can see it right before your eyes. You don't have to listen to me talk about it. Mm-hmm. You can watch it happen. You can watch what happens when strangers who don't know each other walk into a room. This conversation you and I are having is a result of us being strangers in a room. We were strangers in a room, and look where we are now. Yeah. There was a palpable energy that people could feel in that conversation. And the world is not full of strangers. The world's full of people that are just friends waiting to be friends.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Let's not make the world a strange place. Let's make it a friendly place.
Yeah.
I love that.
And it is. It just means we have to just invite that opportunity by just being inquisitive enough to listen. And the power of that listening, you can hear that in the story that I tell of Corey, the homeless guy, which I won't tell now because it's in so many places.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. The innovator in me just woke up with
Oh.
everything that you're saying and everything that we've said. I can see so much of everything that you're trying to pull forward for yourself and your growth into that one theme of revolutionary listening.
Yeah.
Listen to each other, listen to your intuition, listen to your truth, listen to your body, listen to your chakras, listen to your energy.
Yeah.
Listen more instead of trying to control it all.
Yeah.
Come here, Ellie. I'll help you.
I mean, when we learn that we can listen to our business, if we're having trouble in our business is trying to say something to us.
Exactly.
Our environment's trying to say something to us. Our family's trying to say something to us. Our medicine, our bodies are trying to say something to us, and all of it's talking, and we're not listening.
Mm-hmm. And there are so many times when, myself personally, I can say this anyways, when I don't even know that somebody is trying to tell me something. Like they may not actually be trying to tell me anything, but if I actually listen anyways, there's something there.
Yeah.
There's something there for me.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, so I would, if I would leave with one thing, it would be, well, the thing that I challenge everybody to do in my conversations is, you have no idea the power you have in listening to another human being and what that means to somebody. Go out and find somebody who you don't know and spend 10 minutes and just have a conversation with them. Just listen to them. And if it gets contagious, do that with your wife or your husband or your kids. Do that with your best friend, because so often we don't even take the time to listen to what they're saying to us. And pretty soon, if you're like me, you'll start to listen to the space between the things that exist. And that space will say, this person might need your love, and send them your love. And be willing to experience whatever you experience in that experience. Because it might surprise you, it sure has me. But it's been beautiful.
Wow. I love the message. I really want to go cuddle with it. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much for letting me flip the script on you and for sharing all of this with all of us. I know that I have been touched and blessed by your answers, and hopefully everybody else who is a listener and follower of you is going to have an even deeper sense of what this is, why this is, and how this is, and how it can serve them. Because that's what you're here to do. You're here to serve them. All of us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for doing this and for giving of your time to do this process. I so appreciate you.
I had a blast. Thank you so much.
Okay. Big love. For those of you who are listening, I hope you enjoyed this. It's not something that I've been doing. I've had my time to say who I am, but I think it's beautiful that Jessa asked me for if she could do it, and I said absolutely. And so I hope it helps you to understand a little bit about what I'm doing, but even if it doesn't, I still want you to come into the room. I still want to have conversations with you. And as I said, take a moment and hear and listen to other people. If we can create a world where we listen to each other, we have a beautiful world there in front of us. And what you do for others, do for yourself. If you're listening to others, then listen to yourself also. Because so often we don't listen to our own sound of our own voice inside. So with that, I want to thank you all for coming. Jessa, I want to thank you again. Is there anything left that you want to say that you haven't said?
No, you know me. Thank you, love you, and this is an honor. This is an absolute honor.
I love it. So for those of you who want to know more, you can get the Mosaic. It's available on Amazon. My sponsors are the Mosaic. They would love you to do that. I would love you to do it because I would love to know how you experience it. With that being said, until the next stranger comes into this room, be kind to each other, be kind to yourself, love each other, love yourself, and just create the world that you want to live in. You can do it. God bless.